Hello, my name is Cornelius Henderson. I'm going to be talking about how your language may be keeping you from achieving your goals. I'm the managing partner of Cooperative Solutions LLC. You can locate us at dcmetrorealestatedeals.com or also isyourmoneylazy.com. Bottom right hand corner, if you look, you can see it's a glass. It's both half full and half empty. Which way? We give you two options, A or B. It's your choice, and we just put this down there just to illustrate that how you're looking, how you're talking, all of that has an effect on you achieving your goals and how your mind goes and interpreting how you're going about attaining those goals. So we're gonna basically jump right into it. We're just gonna talk about just some quick things. How often have you heard phrases such as "That's me," "That's just the way I am," or "He or she makes me sick"? I can't do that. I just don't have the time. Or if my wife or husband were more patient, if only they were more patient. Uh, you know, what's wrong with these statements? Many of us use them all the time. The problem with these statements is that these are all reactive statements. They're pretty much relinquishing us from control. The language of reactive people absolve them of responsibility and makes them pretty much lose control. They feel that someone else is controlling their situation, and it makes you, less responsible for taking control of your individual situation. Let's take a look back at it. When you say "that's me," "that's just the way I am," hey, it shows that you're determined and there's nothing that you can do about it. You're determined to be that way, and that there's nothing that you can do about it. He or she makes me sick. I'm not responsible. My emotional life is governed by something outside of my control. That person right there controls my feelings and literally can, whatever they want to do, they can make my emotions go up or down based on whatever it is that they want to do. I'm not in control of my emotions. He or she is. I can't do that. I just don't have the time. Something outside of myself, limited time, is controlling me. If only my husband or wife were more patient. Someone else's behavior, my wife or husband, is limiting my effectiveness. Because of them, I'm not as good. Okay. Now you're starting to see exactly how this language could kind of really affect the way that you will go about your daily business and what it is that you want to do and achieve in life. So essentially, how do we change our language? Focus on the fact that, especially in the United States of America, you always have a choice. Okay? Now, you may be choosing between the lesser of two evils, but you always have a choice. And you have to always remember that. No one is forcing you to do anything that you don't have to do. So let's take an example. Reactive language, there's nothing I can do. When you want to be proactive and invoking choice, you sit over here and say, and instead of saying there's nothing I got to do, let's look at our alternatives. Now, maybe the alternative, you're choosing a lesser of two evils, but you always have a choice. This type of language will always keep you using, just this simple verbiage will keep you always engaged in the fact that you have possibilities. It keeps you more in control of your situation. And once you start forcing these into habits, you will see how many doors begin to open up. In terms of when you start to keep your options open and understand choices. Let's look at a few more phrases. That's just the way I am. That's the reactive language. Proactive language is I can choose. I can choose a different approach. I personally have implemented this. I pay attention to this a lot more than most people, and a lot of quite frankly, I have friends, family members. We all grew up or went through the same situations, and people get stuck in who they are, and I kind of personally don't buy into it because I know I have those same characteristics and I've worked hard to change them. But it's staying conscious of it and being proactive and choosing to do a different approach. Reactive language, he or she makes me sick. Proactive language, I control my own feelings. So whatever it is you want to do to try to bother me, hey, I can choose to respond to what it is that you're doing to me. That's my choice. I can walk away, or I can fight, not literally fight, but deal with you. That is fight is called fight or flight. It's really important in terms of developing your own personal decision making. Reactive language, they won't allow that. This is kind of, from the real estate investor perspective, like let's say just on a short sale, or you're working with a seller, or something of that sort. The proactive language you want to use is, I can create an effective presentation to show the alternative possibilities, you know and essentially, you don't have to say it all flowery like this when someone says they won't allow that, but you have to understand the possibility that you can control a way to move that person from where they're sitting there saying I don't want that, to the possibility that you can move them to I will do that. You always have to have that open in your mind, because you're going to hit those roadblocks all the time, and that's how you get to those goals that you're after. Last one, my favorite, I can't. I hate these two words, quite honestly. I can't. And the proactive language we're going to start using is I choose. Instead of saying, oh man, I can't do that this week, I choose I choose an alternative to doing that. There is something more pressing for me to do at this time. This was just really important when I was working to get myself out of my 9 to 5, when time was limited, and I had to make decisions, and the decision had to be, hey, my work suffered in terms of what the product I was putting out, but I needed more time to grow my business. And if I would have stayed long enough to have an evaluation, maybe it wouldn't have been as great as I did in previous years. But I made a choice that I was not going to stay. So I really didn't give two hoots about an evaluation. I did what I needed to do, but I was no longer a 5-star employee. And that was a decision I had to make. I chose that route. And the benefits of not having that choice is, if I didn't do that, I would have never freed myself from the job. So that was that choice. But if by going the other way, I was able to, the downfall is I may have not had a 5-star review, which may have hurt my promotion chances, and that really wasn't that important to me. So you have to weigh out decisions sometimes when you're locked in, and you're thinking you can't do something. You have to look at two different alternatives and see which one is the worst possible consequence to each, and weighing out which one can you accept, and then making a decision. And it may be decisions you don't want to make, but you have to make that decision, instead of just saying, oh, I can't. Let's just quickly just get a little bit beyond just the language. All right. Our ability to reach our goals depends on how we focus our time and our energy. Essentially, this is a circle of concern. So within this circle, let's say you have your money, family, job, friends, anything that that you're concerned about, that falls within your circle of concern. What's outside of that circle has no concern to you. You may not care about what takes place out in some area of the country, or what's going on in the stock market. If you don't care about the stock market, or whatever it is, it has no concern. So within that circle of concern, you've got the circle of influence. Circle of influence talks to you, and is basically about your ability to influence things within your circle of concern. Circle of influence is things that you can control, that affect your circle of concern. For instance, I work in my real estate development business so that I can make more money, because I want to provide for my family. So my family is within my circle of concern, and I work very hard on my circle of influence to control my circle of concern. Now, what most people don't understand, you have to control your circle of influence. Is really important, and then you can basically determine your outcomes, which is your circle of concern. When you are growing your circle of influence, when you take more, you're more proactive on working on your circle of influence and the things that you can control and being proactive. Very little is outside of your control that is really important to you. On the opposite end, when you're so focused on your circumstances, on the government won't the government won't give me any money. The banks won't refi me. I can't get this. When you're so focused on the environment and things that are outside of your sphere of influence, the things that you can control, very, very, very little is it within your control, and your circle of influence decreases. All right. Reactive focus, being reactive to the environment around you decreases your circle of influences. People who are reactive, they focus on the weakness of other people, the problems in the environment, and circumstances that they can't control. I cannot control the lending environment right now. So you know what? I find every way that I can to get around it. That's just what I do. Something bad happens, I shrug it off the shoulder. It's the lending environment. I can't control what it is, how they do business. I just say, hey, if that's the way you do business, that's my favorite line. If that's the way you do business, hey, that's fine. I'll tell you now, take my business elsewhere. But I can't control that. I move and adapt very, very, very quickly. Reactive people have a lot of negative energy. It's pretty draining. And they're always the victim. Whoa, it's me. Oh, this is happening to me. They're never in control of their circumstance. Reactive focus increases that circle of influence that we talked about. You work on things that you can control. We can control very little. You work on that stuff that you can control, and that will in turn, build your circle of influence. You want to focus on positive energy. You got to shrug off all the negative energy that's out there, and the things that happen negatively to you, and focus on the positive energy. And you want to control your direct problems by changing your habits. This is one of the most critical things that you could do, is quite simply changing your habits, and that will allow you to control the direct problems that you're dealing with. And you accept the responsibility of reacting in a positive manner to those things that you cannot change. There are certain things that are just that you just have absolutely no control over, and you just have to control your reaction to that. Are you going to have a smile or frown? Naturally, you're going to have a temporary moment of frustration, but you need to put in methods and ways to control your reaction to it. Basically, a conclusion: the information that we discussed, this is just the surface, and this is pulled from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Definitely recommend you definitely reading it, and getting through it, and really implementing these habits and things in your daily life. In addition, for those of you in the real estate investing business, definitely visit dcmetrorealestatedeals.com. We definitely want you to join our buyers list. We partner with other real estate investors nationwide. We network, refer deals, and purchase deals. Everything is done through our website. All right, definitely visit us at isyourmoneylazy.com. This is totally a website designed to grow your money. Just separate of what you do independently to make money. All right. Definitely want you to like us if you haven't already on facebook.com/cooperative solutions. And, as a bonus for you liking us on Facebook, we're going to send you an ebook on how to create offers that can make you rich. It's a detailed analysis of 7 powerful marketing strategies to incorporate into your business. Hopefully, this video gives you some great information on how to use your language and how to increase your circle of influence to get to your goals. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks.